Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Laura's Place of Art, also known as Not Just Art. So, it's been a while since I've done a video. I've come back on and, sorry, been away just trying to get a little bit more motivated in a few other self-development ideas that I do, and also getting my online courses up, out and launched. So doing lots of videos for that. So today I thought I'd come on. I'm starting a new piece. I did do a video on this some time ago. It was an old piece that was done as a mood board, mood painting for atmosphere. And what I thought, I didn't know at the time what it's going to be, and I just covered it in a blue and white, but it has got a textured background. So some time ago my nephew got married, and I've still got a few of the leaves that have now dried, and they're all from eucalyptus leaves and sort of these small leaves that you can see. So I thought today I would do a few overlays of these leaves and build that up as a design. So as you probably realize, I do a lot of ideas based on give me textile designs, and I thought I would try and do something that is a layered piece on leaves and see where it takes me. So here we go. So I'm just going to start to draw out, and I'm giving myself a base. I'm working portrait rather than landscape, and I'm just drawing in ideas, okay, because all this is ideas. And then what I do is I take smaller areas, or maybe I take the actual design and I make that more into a either a picture like I'm doing now, or we take it into a design. It just sometimes, you know, I've got this idea in my head, so I'm roughly drawing out the leaves, roughly drawing out little twigs, in fact, and I'm not really worrying too much where they're going, but I'm just making it so that the kind of stems are kind of fanning out but flowing out. So I'm just starting off. I don't know if you can see that. I'm not working that heavy, but what I am trying to do is to get an overall growth. And I'm just going to put my glasses on and try and get it all to flow. Now, whether you can see this or not, but the idea, because I'm going to paint, so you will see it come into effect when I start painting. And just, I'm not really worrying about the fact that it's got a textured surface. I like the surface. Almost reminds me of a fresco wall. But what I am going to start to do is looking at that leaf shape. It is kind of like a small heart shape, and I'm going to start off with putting those, or maybe I put these in the background. So we will just see how it goes, and then we'll build up the layers. So again, now all I'm doing is doing the leaves, and this is where I want to keep some things kind of roughly the same size, and just, I hope the radio is not too loud. And I don't mind if I do the leaves coming off. They don't have to be completely whole leaves. They can just be sort of, you know, the whole thing. And I'm not trying to get them all perfectly the same, but what I am doing is I'm just building up my image, and then we'll see where we've got to add on two things. So I might be quiet for a little bit, which will make a change. So there we go. it's important that you don't try and be a perfectionist when you're doing things like this, because it really is important just to get the idea of placing things down. And by no means this isn't a repeat pattern I'm doing, although it could go into a repeat pattern. We'll see at the end, which is then when I start making it into repeats. So certainly my leaves are very different in shape to all of them. I'm not really worrying too much because the paint will determine to me how they go. So I try and work in different sort of sizes and crossing over and just allowing kind of like branch. There's something about the flow of leaves and twigs and different things that can come into a design that can determine what the design ends up being like. And again, this is all very therapeutic, I will say, and building up one's confidence to design, or just having a picture, you know. It doesn't really matter what really happens, as long as you start taking it upon yourself to create. Because I think we all have a creative streak in us. It may not be for art, but it may be music, or it may be playing music, or it may be singing, or it may be dancing. And I think the more we can channel in to more relaxation, I think that makes us a little bit more all-rounded as people, that can adapt ourselves to different ideas and getting some really nice ideas flowing. So I've got quite a lot of leaves on there now, and I'm just thinking about my colour palette, because I actually didn't want to stray too far from this colour. So it is going to be aqua, which is what I've got down here, and greens, more jadey greens, I think. And then I'm going to come back in with white paint and add ink to it to give me this, which I've done in another previous painting. Kind of, it gives you a little kind of a bit more raw ink, but with paint. So we'll start there. So I'll get my base down, and then I'll work out where my top layers. So I've worked kind of on doing leaves like this, and it's probably little kind of leaves like that, and then I will look at putting in something like this, which is going to be a little bit bigger. So this is the background, so this is the first lot. So just looking at what I'm doing, I work on card rather than working on a tray. You can work on a plate, or I work on paper plates. I'm a big sort of thing of recycling. So I've got paint down here before, but it is definitely a dry. Let's see. Now, I couldn't get to my other paints because I've had a big clear out, but I've also just can't get to them as of such. So what are we going with? We're going to go with maybe a bit more green. So I'm using Liquitex. They're a little bit more creamier than and not as thick as System 3. but I certainly will be using mixers. So I've got a, what's that one? I've got a cadmium yellow, and I think this is a light yellow, which is probably usually like a lemon yellow. I've also got an interference green as well there. So we will put this down. And I'm probably going to use a little bit of white. So when you blend your colours, it's important. I've got a few brushes which I'll go through in a moment. And so a bit of lemon yellow. Do I want interference? Maybe not yet. Okay. So, do I want that? No, that's a bit too dark. Maybe we will. Maybe we will. We'll put down a bit of ultramarine blue, just in case I need a little bit. So I put this out. So I'm kind of one of these people. I'm a tube painter. I paint from the tube, which is, but for all purposes here, it's better that I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm just going to turn that radio down. And sorry, not sure how much you got of all that. So, and I've got some. Haven't got a palette knife. Palette knife. Let me do a little bit of. I'm going to do something I don't usually do. So I'm going to take that paintbrush. So I've got 4 paint brushes with me. I've got really actually 2 mixing brushes here, and a medium brush and quite a small brush. So, and I didn't bring a palette knife with me to get some white paint out, but we're going to go. And I've also got some just little wet wipes, but these are dry wipes because they've dried out. So just going to put a little bit of white in here. I don't usually do that, but anyway, let's just rough that off. So again, kind of carve out your space in terms of where you have. I've got a, just underneath here, I've got like a table protector, so I'm using that, and all I'm on is a canvas board. So this is a thin canvas board. It's not a canvas as it is, but I think actually it's linen, because I quite like working on linen. So here we go. So before we get on to those colours there, just going to push that out of the way. If you've watched any of my videos before, I'm a big lover of using Koh-i-Noor paints, which are inks, pigmented inks. So I'm going to go in with those, and kind of what I do with them is I kind of paint with them and with acrylic paints. So I really enjoy mixing my mediums. Very big on it actually. Because I think it's important. You get different textures, you just get a different feel to things. So let's do working. I'm going to work with my medium brush, and again these are like watercolors, so I'm just going to drop some water onto them. Emerald green's very lush, and if I put that down first, then I've got to kind of come back from it, and it's the same with some of the dark colours, so I might just put on the light colour first before we go and hit any other colour. So the aqua colours, purple, anything like that are quite highly pigmented, and so we'll work with that. They've lasted me for ages, these have, and I just love using them. You can use them for lots of different things. So just working with the colour, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to start. So again, then you can start to see, and it may be very light at this moment in time, okay, but it's a start so that you can start to see that not every leaf is the same. And in fact, those are brown leaves because they've all turned, because I've had them for such a long time, but as they're on their kind of last legs, I'm going to throw them out probably this week. But I just thought I would take the opportunity to do a little bit of artwork from them before I throw them. So I'm just filling in. This design starts to come together. Just don't have any preconceived ideas. I have an idea in my head what I want this to look like, but that's about it. But it's open for change as well. So oops, gone into the wrong colour there. Never mind, you can see that in the darkness. So it's very rich, but that's okay. We'll deal with that in a moment. Don't have to all be the same. In fact, that's quite a nice line for the stem. So now I've got to be careful because that's kind of wet. So where I'm going from here. So again, I'm going to put one down here. And again, you can allow it just to come off and don't worry about it. Okay. This, when I start to put acrylics on, this will all kind of come together. So I don't necessarily, if I was doing just inks, I would probably tend to use more really hard and quite thick, more like Bockingford paper. Move it along. And Bockingford is like, usually I use about 300 grams. Okay. And I can tell because I used, oh, how's that happen? Oh, I just got paint all over me. Aren't I clever? And it's acrylic paint. And I've just put it onto there. Oh, I must have put my hand. Never mind, never mind. Okay, I'm just going to carry on. I must have put my hand in the acrylic paint. I have, and now I've just, oh, never mind. It is what it is. At the end of the day, I think I've ruined the jumper. Never mind. No artist clothing is without paint. But I am aware that I'm covered in that. Never mind, adds to the design. I'll take it out later. Well, I don't think I'll be able to take it out because acrylics dry really quickly. And if anybody ever has tried acrylic painting on fabric, it does not come out, even if you try your hardest. Right, so I'm going to turn this around so I can get to other things. But as you can see, slowly, slowly, it's coming together. In fact, I'm putting so I am sorry, I have got natural light above my head. Usually I do this during the daytime, but today I kind of went out. I thought, oh, it's such nice weather, I'll come back and do some painting. Of course, I've done it right at the last moment of the day because we're losing our light now. So anyway. Now, if I wanted to make these all the same shape, I would have kind of taken a tracing paper and then put something like charcoal on the back to transfer the image onto, if you're working on a surface like this. Obviously, if you're just using tracing paper, you use it normally, where you're tracing on the back of it. But something like this, it's actually quite harder to use things like tracing paper. So I'm just working kind of the design as I go along. So I'm still using the inks. I just love these inks. They're probably my favourite thing. My friend introduced me to these. Everything gets them. Everything nearly. I'm working design, and I work sometimes with these and the paint, acrylic paints. So they're certainly not perfect, which is why I like using them, because on a surface like this, it's allowing for mistakes to be made, but not really mistakes, just allowing for it to finish. So I'm going to show you in a moment what I'm going to do with the leaves, and then I'll just turn it around to see what the balance is like on the design. So when I talk about balance, it's have I got colours in certain places that are balancing up. So there's quite a lot of green here, and then you've got some darker areas coming in. That's whether I choose to have some green coming in from there. So I'm going to go in with some lighter green on this area here. So I mainly do designs for interiors, interior furnishings or surface design. Tend not to do that much for fashion fabrics anymore. I used to be involved in fashion fabrics, but not so much. I'm more geared towards the harder fabrics these days. Although that's what I started out with, is designing textile ideas for fashion. So that is kind of what I've got to. Okay, so now we're going to apply the stems. Hopefully not. So with these inks, they're still, if I got water on them, they would just drip. So it'd still come in. So they're not permanent. loads of lines now coming over here. And what I am going to show is what I'm going to do with the oops, wrong one. The well, it doesn't really matter, does it? What I'm going to do with the acrylic paint, although most of it I've got up my sleeve. It's always harder to paint with your, when you're not got your hand keeping you steady. Turn that round a bit. So, as you can see, that's the first coat. Easy. Easy. Okay, so now let's just concentrate. So this video probably go on for too long by the time I get around to this. But what I usually do is I start my videos, if I've finished something, then come back to and show how I've done the layering. I did wonder about doing a time-lapse video, but I think I'll put it there, and then let me just show what I'm going to do now. I'm going to work with my acrylic paint, and this to get you into working with acrylic paint. So I'm just working with going in for the darker greens at the moment, and I'm just going to take that and I'm going to put in a little bit of blue. So I tend to mix with my paintbrush, and I'm not worried too much about having the pure colour. But what I have got is I've got blue and I've got the green, and I literally go over the top. So really I'm kind of masking in the colour when it comes to doing the inks. Sometimes I show them, sometimes I don't. Okay, but at the moment I'm just going to mask that in. So in fact what I've got in there is ink and paint. So I'm just going to mask that in a little bit more. And because I've got white on the background, it's giving it a texture as well. I'm not sure if you can see that, but I'm going to lift it up. Okay, so that one just there. Okay, so, and I'm going to take a little bit of white, not a lot, and just bring it down on one side. Okay, it could have gone on the top if you wanted light direction, but I've done it on the bottom just to change the colour. So I'm now going to probably do that all over, and then this little baby one we're going to go into blue. but I will show this. Anyway, that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what I do, just hit the subscribe or the bell button. As I say, usually they come out, you know, once a week, but I have been away for a bit, so and doing other things. But thank you for watching. Bye for now.